Hello students, welcome to Sir UPSC Universe. This is Venkatesh, your faculty for Geography and Environment. In this session, I would like to give you key for the test conducted, the Grand Test 1 conducted recently by our institute. The objective, see, you already know the key. The questions are provided to you, key is provided to you, but the objective in this discussion is understand the nuances of the questions which were asked in geography, and also during the exam time how you can have certain understandings, the tips needed to attempt certain questions and not to attempt certain questions, or how to get a right answer. That basic tips which are needed to get a right answer is what we will be seeing in this kind of paper. Okay, so it is the objective is not just to get the key but also certain tricks and elimination techniques of getting right answers, especially for a geography related question. Okay, so let us see that. So let's start. So with this, the first question which was asked on the TSPSC Group 1 Prelims Grand Test 1 Geography, the first question, it is on question number 4. Now you see the basic mistakes. What will you do? One blunder or a silly mistake which most of the students do is don't read the question properly. Please concentrate on questions where they are asking correct, incorrect, not correct, such kind of things. Now you see this question, which of the following is not true is what we are asking here. Some of the aspirants, okay, during their with more energy and they ignore such kind of things in the exam, which will cost you very significantly. Easy questions which are under our control, we should always never lose such kind of marks. So not true, don't do such kind of mistakes. So which of the following conditions are not true with respect to climatic conditions for the cultivation of wheat? We all know it requires a cool growing season. Obviously we know that wheat requires cool growing season. Yes. It requires bright sunshine at the time of ripening. Do you know? Maybe, may not be. Let us assume now, question mark. It requires more than 100 centimeters of annual rainfall. 100 centimeters of annual rainfall, if you require more, it has to have more amount of water, no? Then definitely it will be cultivated in places where there is more water. But it is cultivated in northwestern India, and you also know this. The westerly winds provide a small amount of rainfall which is sufficient for wheat. So definitely this is a wrong statement which you should know, right? Then it can be grown in all parts of India. It is also a very straightforward question which says that it is not so. It is grown in only in selected places. This is also wrong. So the basically you are for sure you know that 3 and 4 are wrong. The moment 3 and 4 is wrong, and there is no option for 2, 3, 4. So whether that requires bright sunshine at the time of ripening, that is usually at the end stages, that is towards February, March, which is true, it does require. If you don't know that also, you should answer this question right. I want this question for you to be definitely right. So that should be 3 and 4. See here, some mistakes. If you don't see the property not true and true, not true, you assume that statement is asking about true statements, you might go for 1 and 2 statement A, which is a blunder. That is the reason why I am discussing this question, so that you will come to know about the mistakes which you should be avoiding in the exam. So mistake 1 to avoid, read the question properly. Then the next question, question number 9, right. Which of the following are the main characteristics of temperate cyclones? Now, the moment you heard about temperate cyclones, you should not confuse in the exam. This might not be easy question like wheat, but you should not be worried. Within your existing knowledge, let us see what you can do. Temperate cyclones. The moment temperate means it is beyond the tropical part, and 30 degrees north to 30 degrees to 60 degrees north. Similarly, 30 degrees south to 60 degrees south, temperate part of the world. So with that knowledge, let us see 30 degrees north to 30 degrees south. No, that means you are covering the entire equatorial region. So that is not the characteristic of temperate cyclones. Statement 1 is wrong. Then high air pressure in the center, low air pressure in the center. What do you mean by cyclone here? Basic understanding which you should know. Cyclone means from the central part there would be movement of the air away, right? That is what? Low air pressure at the center, which we all always see. So there is a whatever, the moment you talk about any cyclone, what do you say? Low pressure at the center and air entering into it. Cyclonic conditions in an atmosphere means air entering into the center with low pressure. That is what is called as cyclone. Anticyclone, when it is high pressure at the center, it means anticyclone, right? So obviously any cyclone means low pressure conditions. What is a cyclone? Low pressure conditions. The nature how low pressure is formed at the tropical part is different from the temperate part. Hence you have two different cyclones called temperate cyclones and tropical cyclones. But cyclone means low pressure. This is the basic idea. So statement 3 is definitely right. So that is the thing. Okay. So statement 2 is wrong. Statement 1 is wrong. The moment, another thing which I am telling you. Many of you will read about tropical cyclones but will not read about temperate cyclones. Just because you haven't read, don't assume that you cannot answer. Check in this way. Maybe you know the answer, right? At least if you should have eliminated statement 1. Then if you have eliminated statement 1 automatically, so rule number 2 I am trying to tell you, whenever you eliminate 2 statements in the exam, definitely try to get that answer right, because you have high chances of answer getting it right. Okay, don't do blunders like when you don't know the question, some option I would choose. Never like that, it will not work out. Okay, then next question. Correct about northern plains. Which of the following statements are correct about northern plains? Now you see here, the northern plains are formed by alluvial deposits of the major rivers. Yes. Babbar is a narrow belt at the Shivalik foothills. We know the Babbar zone, which is a belt of Shivalik foothills of heavy boulders, rocks and pebbles. Yes. North of the Babbar is Tarai or south of the Babbar is Tarai. Understand? The order is Shivaliks first, then Babbar zone, then Tarai zone. So statement 3 is wrong. A very basic question. I don't want you to miss such kind of questions. Okay. So this is the thing. So in that way you get the answer is here C. Then the next question is question number 16. Laurentian type of climate. Now you all know Laurentian type of climate. So it is 45 degrees to 60 degrees latitudes, north and south, mostly on the eastern type of climate, eastern side. So because on the eastern side it has the features of maritime and continental. It is not continental alone, maritime and continental. And you will find here that the predominant vegetation here is climate is cool temperate forest, because 45 to 60 degrees means cool temperate region. So that's why it is cool temperate, and there is a uniform distribution of rainfall. See, the moment you go into the higher latitudes, you will not have uniformity of rainfall. Uniformity of rainfall is only in the equatorial part. So with this basic idea, what you can identify is at least Laurentian type of climate. If you know that it is part of 45 to 60 degrees longitude latitudes, you might have known that this is a cool temperate forest. Then if you know more about equatorial, you should have eliminated statement 3 as well. With that, answer is statement A, right? Then statement 7, question number 17. Now corals. What is the basic idea about coral reefs which we know? Coral reefs. The moment I say coral reefs, what is the picture you are getting? Maybe Maldives, Mauritius. If you are talking about Maldives and Mauritius, automatically you should expect that it is part of the warm temperate zone, definitely not a cool temperate zone. So statement 1 is right. Then depth of the water should not exceed 180 feet. See, common sense. Coral reefs means the picture you are getting, beautiful fishes going across and all. Fish productivity. Do you need sunlight? Obviously yes. If there is more depth, how can the sunlight penetrate in the ocean? Definitely no. So 1 and 2 are right. And the basic concept about corals: saline, sediment free and clean water. If there is clean water, then only sunlight can penetrate. If there is no clean water, there is polluted water, sediments and all, how can sunlight penetrate? No chance. So that way 1, 2 and 3 are correct. So the moment 1, 2 and 3 are correct, you only have one option: 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, some of you don't know the influence of warm currents. Whenever there are warm currents, what happens is there is no proper mix. When there is warm currents, there is warm temperature. That's why warm currents are also suitable. Wherever you will find cold currents, you will not find much amount of coral reefs. So you all know, along the deserts, there is some cold deserts. Along the hot deserts like Saharan desert, we have a cold current, no, like Canaries. For every hot desert, you have a cold current. So at that places, you will not find coral reefs. Why? Temperature, cool water, not sufficient. So that is the way you should be able to answer it. See, what I am trying to tell you here is, along with certain tips and blunders, with the basic geographical knowledge which you have, I want you to get the answers right in the exam. Some you might, some you might not. So our objective now is not to make you learn the last few days existing knowledge, how to get marks, right? That is what you are seeing it. Then you will see question number 18. Which of the following crops is not cultivated in Karevas, the lacustrine deposits of sand, clay, loam? You might not know about this. So Karevas means, many of you know this, Karevas are found in Kashmir, which are the deposits of say saffron. That is what we know. Then along with that, almonds and walnuts are also grown. Lignut is part of the tropical part. This you might not know. So maybe any one of you, you will know that saffron definitely is not the answer, because the question is not cultivated. If you haven't read not cultivated, you would go for Karevas, which is a blunder. Avoid that in the exam, right? So this is about it. Maybe a difficult question. Then steppes is not experienced in which of the following places? See, the moment steppes means they are known for interior. So that's the thing. When you have read in G.C. Leong textbook or where the first statement you have written about steppes is interior climate. If it is interior, you would not find in the coastal regions. So one such coastal area which you have is Perth, which is not found, right? Pretoria, Buenos Aires, yeah, maybe to, and that is one. Interiors, but in the southern hemisphere you might find some kind of coastal areas as well, because on the eastern side where you might find certain things, but on the western side that is not the case. So western side means Mediterranean. So Perth is on the western side. Maybe if it is eastern side like Buenos Aires, you might have considered, right? So the two things when you need to consider about these things: understand the climatic distribution, west, central, east. Then mostly you will try to get the answers right. Okay. So with this, answer is C. Then the next question, 20th question, very basic question. I want you to definitely get this answer right. So if you see, which of the following statements are concerning natural regions of the world are correct? You know, equatorial climatic regions have less urbanization. Obviously, our equatorial climate, you have all the beautiful snakes, so much amount of diversity, thick forest, Amazon. Why would you have urbanization? Definitely less urbanization, right? Mediterranean climatic regions have high level of urbanization. High level of urbanization. Maybe you might have confusion. Okay, let us read the confusion. Equatorial climates have high concentration of human population. With that much amount of high temperature, humidity, thick density, how can population live there? Hardly less. So third statement is wrong. One statement is right, third statement is wrong. So you have eliminated only one statement. Let us see the fourth one. Mediterranean climatic regions practice plantation farming. Yeah, will they practice plantation farming and all? We have to see it. For example, plantation farming. Yes, maybe olive tree. Okay, things like across the wherever you will find some kind of good amount of hilly areas and all, they might find some kind of plantation. Yes, and they have high levels of urbanization because they have temperatures are very moderate, good enough. tourism is very high, decent urbanizations are found. So because of that, 2 is right and 4 is also right. Answer is C. Right. So see, with limited knowledge, how are you trying to get the answers right? That is my objective. Okay. Then next question number 63. So if you see the question number 63, yeah. So you see this, match the following with respect to things. Now what basics you know? The moment you see such kind of questions, you might once again fear, I don't know this topic, I haven't prepared. But basic ideas. Weathering means what? Breaking down of material. Because of weathering, breaking down of material, you know that one form of weathering is exfoliation. Exfoliation. Say the things which you find in Telangana, exfoliation, onion peeling weathering antam kada. What is that? There is more heat. The first layers of the rock is exposed to the sun. They slowly start breaking as a layer wise. That is called exfoliation. That is nothing but weathering, breaking down of the material. So weathering, exfoliation, if you have known that D2, the only option where there is D2 is statement A. See, what you know, I wanted to get the answers from that. I don't care about whether you have said limestone regions, it means poly, which is a one kind of a landform of limestone. Whether you know it or not, I don't care. What I care about, what you know. Similarly, volcanoes, you might have known batholith, one kind of a landform of volcanoes, right? That is what I wanted to see it here, right? Then 101. Then 101, if you see this 101, it's a very basic factual question. Now if you know the fact, you should know, otherwise you cannot. So answer is here very much C. Telangana, what is the population you have in the urban areas and how much it stands in terms of urbanization. So this is a factual question. You might not know. So answer is C. Nothing much to explain here. Right. Then question number 104. Now you see, this is what I wanted to get the basic answers right. Attractive hill stations in Telangana. Anyone who is part of Hyderabad, you should have known this. Very near to it, Vikarabad district along the Musi river, which have a very good picturesque places, Anantagiri hills. So you should have known that Anantagiri, very prominent place. No mistakes here. If you do such kind of question mistake, you know what will happen? You will always be running behind. Huh? Right? So gap another round meeku vere valaki. Toppers and the others. No blunders. Next question 105. Once again, important river Godavari. Go and check all its tributaries. Where are they moving and all? Go and revise that. Manjira is a right bank tributary. You should know about that. Right. So Manjira is a right bank tributary. Right. Then according to Indian Meteorological Department, which storm is classified as super cyclone? See, Bangalakatala Alpapidanam erpadindi ante low pressure area. That means low pressure area means it is around 330 kilometers per hour. The moment it will be considered as a cyclone is only when it crosses 62 kilometers per hour. From there, severe cyclone, very severe cyclone, extremely severe cyclone and all, if it crosses 2 km, wind speeds crosses 220 kilometers per hour, then it is called as super cyclone. So answer is above 220 kilometers per hour. Now this is a technical thing. Maybe you have studied cyclone, then only you will know. Right. Then some of the other questions about disaster management, if you see, they are very straightforward questions. You can see National Disaster Response Force comes under Disaster Management Act 2005. That is a very easier question. Then 108, you will see these are all disaster management questions which are more or less factual. You can go and check the answers. I hope you came to know some basic ideas of how to get the answers right in geography. Is like identifying the knowledge which you have, avoid blunders, get to know the climatic part which you can apply on the answer and get the answer right. So with this, we'll end this session. Thank you for watching.